Yeah. Well, good morning and welcome to the 33rd Annual Mayor's Environmental Expo. My name is Carolyn Bowen and I'm the Director of Climate and Environment with the city. And it is my extreme pleasure to welcome you all to the opening of this virtual and in-person event. Before we get started, we would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge that we are broadcasting from the traditional territories of the people of Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. This includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, made up of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations. The Ithaka, Nakota, Wichitabi Nations comprised of the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation. The City of Calgary is also homeland to the historic Northwest Métis and to Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. We acknowledge all Indigenous urban Calgarians who have made Calgary their home. All right. Well, let's look at the agenda for today. Following a few opening remarks from myself, I will hand it over to Mayor Gondek to officially open the expo, share a few words with you, and answer a couple questions that have come in from some students. Following her address, we want to share a video of a very interesting collaboration between two schools called the Infinity Garden. And finally, we will announce the schools who have received Eco Schools Canada certification this year. So, I am thrilled that our team has been able to offer both in-person and virtual sessions this year. For this opening ceremony and almost all of the Mayor's Environmental Expo sessions, we're using the Microsoft Teams live event platform. And I'm happy to say that all of our virtual sessions are being recorded. And so as attendees, you can all access the recordings using your joining link for the next 30 days. Select recordings are also going to be posted on calgary.ca/mee in coming weeks. As members of the audience, you will not be able to share your audio or video. However, you can interact with the presenters and myself throughout the week using the Q&A button. And that Q&A button looks like two overlapping speech bubbles with a question mark in the middle of one of the bubbles. And there's a picture at the bottom on this slide, you can see it. So as mentioned, we have a very exciting in-person and virtual program this year. It's not too late to register for upcoming virtual sessions. And program and registration links can be found at calgary.ca/mee. And in addition, session handouts or activities, if offered, can also be found at this site. There's many city business units that are offering sessions this year, including a session from Calgary Parks about bees, which has more than over 2,000 students planning to attend. Calgary really is a bee city. We're also lucky to partner with so many organizations that help put on the expo. These organizations are listed here. If you see a group you're interested in connecting with, remember it's not too late to register for their upcoming virtual sessions. And also, as mentioned before, we will be placing select recordings for the week on calgary.ca/mee for future viewing. Thank you all to our presenters in the community. And also, we could not have done this event without our sponsors. And so a big thank you to our transportation sponsor, Calgary Parking Authority, and our workshop sponsor, Enbridge Fueling Futures. We are truly grateful to have them on board and to cover transportation costs and the cost of our virtual and in-person sessions. And a special thank you to all our venue partners who will be hosting over 2,000 students and teachers in person this week at their locations. And now it is my great pleasure to hand it over to Mayor Gondek, who is such a champion for our climate and environment work. She championed our climate emergency declaration last year and is joining us for the first time as mayor for this expo. Mayor Gondek, welcome.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and hi everybody, welcome. Just so you know, I'm dressed pretty casual today because I'm hanging out with the fire department. Myself and members of council are going through some drills to understand how the fire department works and the kind of work that they do. So if you hear some sirens in the background, that's why, and that's why I'm wearing a hoodie today instead of a proper suit. So thanks for understanding all of that. And I want to thank you for helping us celebrate the 33rd Annual Mayor's Environment Expo. This is held every year in conjunction with National Environment Week. I'm pleased that we're able to offer this event again, and as we have heard, it is a bit of a hybrid. There are more than 80 sessions at the municipal complex, as well as 35 online sessions. Climate change has major implications for our city, both now and into the future. We know that Calgarians, and particularly all of you as young people, are incredibly concerned about climate change. And at the City of Calgary, we are absolutely committed to building a climate resilient community. The time for talking has long passed, and the time for action is before us right now. At the close of last year, Calgary City Council declared a climate emergency. And by doing that, we showed the world that we are stepping up and stepping forward with strong environmental policies to solidify our position as an energy and climate leader. We're working towards reducing greenhouse gas emissions and adapting to a changing climate. And we're doing that by taking actions to reduce the impact of things like extreme weather events. The Mayor's Environment Expo is an opportunity for all of you as youth across the city to come together and dream up some big and bold solutions for how we move forward. And I'll tell you, that makes me very positive about the future. And the reason for my optimism is seeing the innovation and commitment to climate action from all of you, our students. And during uncertain times, it's more important than ever before to ensure that we're working together to build a better future for all of us. I'd like to congratulate every one of you for your adaptability and your commitment to protecting our environment and making Calgary an even better place to live. Thank you to the participating organizations for their involvement and support, and thank you to our city staff teams for helping pull this together. And my thanks also go out to all of the teachers and administrators at the various schools for participating and by leading by example and registering your students in these sessions. And with that, I think there's some questions that you have for me, so let me kick it back over to you.
Thanks, Mayor Gondek. We do have a couple questions that came in, and the first one is from grade 4 at West Springs School, and they ask, as a school, which actions can we take to make our school community greener?
That's a really good question. And you know what that shows me is that there's an interest for everybody to be working together on how we can do more for our environment and for climate change. I would say that there's an opportunity to get involved in something called the Eco Schools Canada certification program. And you're going to learn a little bit more about that. And I know it's already been mentioned, but you'll find out a little bit more about it. And it's a program that offers schools from kindergarten to grade 12 an environmental learning and climate action program. There is a sustainability framework through the Calgary Board of Education that includes a goal of 50% of CBE schools achieving Eco School certification within the next few years. So I would say that's probably your best bet to get engaged and involved. The other thing that you can do is look for partners. There's a big list of people that are working on climate change and climate action. Look for those partners and figure out which ones can best help you achieve your goals. And as the City of Calgary, we are a partner that would love to work with all of you and help you achieve some pretty big successes. So lots of opportunity. Let's make sure we're working together.
Excellent. Good answer. Thanks, Mayor Gondek. And we have one more question from Mrs. Coleman's grade 5 CBE Learn class. And they're asking, how are you creating an environmentally friendly transportation options in Calgary while thinking about the impact of lithium-ion batteries on the environment?
You know what? Another really good question, and thank you for that one as well, Carolyn. I would say that probably the most significant thing that we can do is make sure that our transit network is better connected. So all of you are able to take the bus or the train wherever you need to go. So that's got to be job one for City Council, is making sure we've got more routes for you to be able to access. And although we are looking at electrification of our fleets, we are also very aware of the problems that we have with battery storage and battery disposal. So we are also looking at options that some of our partners have come up with. There's this concept of hydrogen blending. So we have buses that run on compressed natural gas, but there's now a desire to blend that with hydrogen for cleaner solutions. So we're always looking into what might be better for us and how we can have different models running. When it comes to things like investments that we're making in our budget, I can tell you that traditionally we were putting a lot of money into building roads and building very wide roads so that everybody could drive their car everywhere. We have started thinking more carefully about how could people have better walking experiences? How could people take their bikes everywhere they need to go? So we've become smarter about the infrastructure we're building. And honestly, I think the number one thing we can do is make sure that within your communities, you have places to get your groceries, you have places where you can walk to school, you have places where you can do your activities and you don't have to drive. That would be the ideal solution. So we have to be smarter as policymakers to design communities in a more efficient and sustainable manner.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Gondek. We have some work cut out ahead of us, but these are all really, really great solutions. And we're so looking forward to having a great environmental education and learnings about solutions that we're implementing today to better protect our environment for the future, reduce climate change, and also help us prepare for climate change. So thank you so much for joining us, Mayor Gondek.
Thank you very much, everybody. Carolyn is going to keep you busy, and you are in very good hands with her. She's an amazing human being who is committed to this work. And thank you, all of you, for being here today. I know you're going to come up with some great ideas, and I look forward to seeing and hearing about them. Take care.
All right. Thanks again. So next we want to share a video about a project that started last year, and it exemplifies the thoughtful and meaningful action students are taking, and not only as environmental stewards, but also towards truth and reconciliation. And this project was one of the 2022 Jack Leslie Youth Environmental Grant recipients, receiving $1,000 to grow their project. Applicants for the Jack Leslie Youth Environmental Grant open each year in December, with winners chosen in January and announced in February. The John G. Diefenbaker High School Environmental Club, the Green Chiefs, together with the Sir John A. Macdonald Junior High, are working on a collective project called the Infinity Garden. And the initial construction of the garden is complete, and the second phase of the project is just starting. And this phase includes planting up to 12 trees, various bushes, and plants important to First Nations culture, as well as adding some seeding stones to the garden space. And the garden is going to be a living acknowledgement of the land, providing a space for meaningful engagement in First Nations teachings and culture, and providing a venue for community activities such as concerts, meetings with local elders, drum ceremonies, and more. So why don't we watch the video now?
Reconciliation is a relationship. This term has become an opportunity to reflect on the past, to heal, and to make it right. Reconciliation cannot just be words, it needs to be an action, and the Infinity Garden is an example of that.
The circle is purposeful in the design of the garden as a universal symbol of unity, connection, and wholeness. You will notice multiple circles in our shared garden, including the metal arbors, the medicine wheel garden, and the infinity-shaped pathway. Elder Sokokoto teaches us that circles are very important, as it is where the teachings begin. With many Indigenous people, it symbolizes the connectedness and interdependence of all beings, including the land and sky.
We are using symbols from all sorts of aspects of Indigenous culture and putting them together into the garden. For example, the infinity symbols of the garden is very important in Indigenous culture. We have lots of circles and Indigenous plants to represent the Indigenous culture.
The garden has really meaningful meaning behind it. Like the whole thing about circles. I feel like things might have happened in the past, but it's important to remember about it so that it won't happen again.
The garden has been helping plan, fundraise. We also have been reading and just overall taking care of it.
I helped with the reading and putting the tobacco in when we built the garden and putting the tobacco in when we plant.
I did the research for the garden, what we were gonna plant, and I also took part in the ceremony. I hope that the flowers actually bloom. I want to see people enjoy the garden. I want to see not just school students, but everyone in the community here.
In the near future, we can look onto this garden and we feel accomplished about our work. Our plans and hope for the future is that the garden becomes something bigger and becomes a symbol of community as well as reconciliation, but more than that. We hope that it becomes an integral part of the community, something that most schools be proud of.
This garden represents to the Indigenous that we're giving back for what we did back in the past. So this garden represents that and us as a community. And I hope that this garden will continue to stand here and just be a token of what we want to give back to the community and what the Indigenous mean to us, how important they are to us.
Wow, what a great project and such a powerful video. That was just wonderful. If you want to check out the other recipients from this year, as well as from previous years, you can find them on calgary.ca. With that, I would like to pass it over to Susan McKeague with the Alberta Council for Environmental Education, or ACE. ACE is the EcoSchools Field Delivery Partner for Alberta, and Susan will be speaking about the EcoSchools Canada program and how we are supporting it here in Calgary, followed by some announcements of which schools received certification this year. So very excited to hear that, and over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Carolyn. The City of Calgary is supporting EcoSchool Canada's environmental certification framework along with the Alberta Council for Environmental Education because they recognize that schools play an important role in engaging our community in climate action. The EcoSchools framework helps schools build environmental leadership and capacity, mitigate climate change by improving operational efficiency of school buildings, recognize achievements and excellence through a collective impact framework, and support Canada's commitment to achieving the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. EcoSchools Canada is the largest environmental certification program for K-12 schools in Canada, currently reaching over 1 million students annually. And the best part is it's free for publicly funded schools. As an eco school, you'll have the opportunity to access City of Calgary subject matter experts and other supports and resources, attend the Mayor's Environment Expo to share your accomplishments, and be part of a growing community of teachers and students who are involved in environmental learning. The photos in this slide show schools participating in Eco Schools Action projects this year. And on this slide, you'll see more pictures of students engaging in environmental learning around waste and energy. We're excited to welcome many Eco Schools participants at the Expo over the next few days, as well as 2 Eco Schools who'll be down at the Expo showcasing their projects. This slide shows the collective impact of students who participated in Calgary Eco Schools this year. There were 5,000 hours of outdoor learning, which is really amazing considering we have some really cold winter days in Calgary. And on Earth Day, there were 1,600 Calgary students and teachers who participated. Through Calgary Eco Schools, there were almost 250 environmental leaders who were involved in learning at their school. I'm so excited to announce our Calgary Eco School certifications for this year. I want to say congratulations in advance to all schools who participated in the Eco Schools program, whether you registered your school for the first time or achieved certification. We look forward to growing the Eco Schools sustainability movement and making Calgary a climate resilient place to live. I'm going to start off with recognizing our participant schools. Participant recognition celebrates a school's effort in taking environmental action and acknowledges a school's participation as valuable members of the growing Eco Schools network in Calgary and Alberta. From the Calgary Board of Education, Dr. Gordon Higgins School, Ian Baslagette School, James Fowler, Vincent Massey, and Senator Patrick Burns. And from the Calgary Separate School District, St. Isidore Online School and St. Matthew's School. These schools participated in projects ranging from Earth Day, community cleanup, anti-idling, planting a pollinator garden to attract all those bees, and many more. Congratulations and keep up the great work. Your efforts are making a difference to our local and global community. On the next slide, I'll announce the schools who achieved bronze level certification. I'd like to congratulate Highwood School for achieving bronze level certification for the 2nd year in a row. Some of the actions they participated in with their students were the Great Gulp to raise awareness about single-use plastics and access to safe drinking water, waste-free lunch, and good on one side paper. Keep up the great work. We were thrilled to welcome West Spring School to the growing Eco Schools network in Calgary and Alberta and celebrate their bronze level certification in their 1st year participating. Some of the actions their students were involved in, including vermicomposting and school-based composting, repurposing and innovative recycling, and Take Me Outside Day. These are just a few of the many actions that students at West Spring School were involved in. I'll now move on to announce schools in Calgary that reached silver certification. We were also excited to welcome John Diefenbaker School to the Eco Schools network in Calgary. As you saw in the video, this school was already doing many wonderful environmental action projects at their school. So it's not surprising that in their 1st year participating in the Eco Schools program, they were able to achieve silver certification. Congratulations. Rundle College is another school that was awarded silver certification, also in their 1st year participating in the Eco Schools program. I know there were many teachers involved in getting the program going at their school this year. On the slide, you'll see a snapshot of some of the actions that students and staff participated in, like grow a food garden, anti-idling, and community cleanup. Congratulations to Rundle College. Congratulations to Crescent Heights High School for achieving the highest level of Eco School certification, Platinum, for the 2nd year in a row. We saw in some photos at the beginning of the presentation some of the projects our students have been involved in this year, such as diverting textile waste, creating homes for wildlife, and community cleanup. If you're going to be down at the expo on Tuesday or Wednesday, I encourage you to stop by their booth and learn more about their projects. A very heartfelt thank you and congratulations once again to all the participating schools. Please stay up to date on all the latest Eco Schools in Alberta news by visiting the ACE website or following ACE on social media. Enjoy the Mayor's Environment Expo, and if you're going to be there in person, please also stop by the ACE booth to learn more about Eco Schools and our Youth Leaders Program. I'll now turn things back to Carolyn to wrap up the opening ceremony for the 33rd Mayor's Environment Expo.
Thanks, Susan. It is so amazing to see all the schools achieving certification this year, and it is such important work. And I just commend all of you for doing such amazing jobs and coming up with amazing ideas. Now, just before I conclude the opening ceremony, I want to again thank Mayor Gondek for joining us today and opening the event. It was quite an honor to have her here. And I also want to thank the Mayor's Environment Expo organizers and volunteers for bringing this event to students. There is so much work and organization and communication that goes into this event. It's quite amazing. And finally, thank you to all the teachers for registering your classes and to students for your participation. I wish you all a very interesting, educational, and inspiring experience. So please, everyone, enjoy your expo, and thank you.